All right, there we go. It's Tuesday. I believe tomorrow is the Wednesday that we have off, right? So you'll be doing stuff from home. Make sure that you log on, that you do your attendance, and that you get your work done from there. So let's take a look at this one. Again, we're doing quadratics, and what we were saying is if that third term is plus, then it's going to be plus plus or minus minus. If that third term is a negative, one's going to be positive and one's going to be negative, whichever way. So we need to remember that part right there. So the first thing we're going to do is take that third term. We're going to take its absolute value. If it's a negative 24, don't put negative 24 over here. We're just looking at 24. We're just splitting it apart. Not on the screen. There we go. So what does factoring mean? Because I had somebody yesterday that didn't quite understand what factoring is. And that's dividing it by every single number until you come up with it, with what equals 2. So if I take 24 and I divide it by 1, that's 24. Then I'm going to go to the next number. From 1, you count, you go to 2. 24 divided by 2, if you do it in your calculator, is 12. Well, I add these together. I did this in my head. 24 plus 1 or 24 minus 1 does not equal 2. 12 plus 2 is 14. 12 minus 2 is 10. That doesn't equal my 2. So I need to keep factoring. I'll check, does 24 divided by 3 work? Well, you take your calculator, 24 divided by 3, and it does work. What is it, 8? 8 plus 3 is 11. 8 minus 3 is 5. That's not the 2. So then I go to 4. Well, 24 divided by 4 is 6. If I add 6, I get 10. I'm sorry, 6 and 4, I get 10. If I subtract 6 and 4, I get 2. This is the factors I'm going to use. I'm not going to use this set. I'm not going to use this set. I'm not going to use this set. I have to use this set. 6 times 4 is 24. That's why we do this. 24 divided by 4 gives us 6. So I know that my factors from that problem are going to be 6 and 4. My variable is x. I put that in there. Now we need to determine, are they plus plus, minus minus, or a variation of the 2? Well, I look at this number, the number we factored. It's plus, so that's up here. So in order to get a positive number when multiplied, it has to be plus plus or minus minus. So in other words, if you take 6 times 4, you're going to get 24. If you take negative 6 times negative 4, you're going to get 24. It's the only way to get it. But when you add them, there's only one way to get 2. Whoops, what? I just realized that. It is negative on your paper. Thank you for bringing that up. So this is negative. I was wondering why this is not going to work out, because I just looked at it and said, well, that's not going to work out. That's negative on your papers. So then we're going to look at this part, right? They're going to be separate. It's the only way you can come with 2. That's why I looked at it and said, wait a minute, it can't be plus plus and minus minus. So it has to be a combination of the 2, because this 24 is negative. I wrote it down wrong. So how do I determine what this big one's going to be when it's negative? Well, what is this one? It's positive, so the big number is going to be positive. That's why I put the big number first. So you just pop it right down there. Well, since this one's negative, this one has to be the opposite. What it is what it is. All right? When you have a negative number, it works out that way. Now you must set each one of these to 0. So x plus 6 equals 0 and x minus 4 equals 0, because each one of these equals 0. Subtract 6 from both sides. This should be pretty easy. This is stuff that you learned from the very beginning of the course. Our opposite operations, of course, are gone. We're left with the x, and 0 plus 4 is 4. So our zeros, our x's, our x-intercepts are -6 and 4. That's where that parabola crosses the x-axis. Make sure I wrote this one down correctly, and I did. So we're going to take that 35. I'm just taking 35. I'm taking the absolute value of it. We'll deal with the negatives and positives after we figure out two factors that will equal 2. Well, 1 we know always works with every single number. 35 divided by 1 is 35, but I cannot get 2 adding and subtracting 1 and 2 together, or 35 and 1. 2 is not going to work, and you don't even need to divide it in your calculator because it's an odd number. If I add 5 and 3 together, I get 8. Well, 3 is not going to go into 8, so I know that 35 is not divisible. It doesn't work. 4, I just have to know that through my head, and it doesn't work. 5 works. What's 35 divided by 5? 7. Can I add or subtract 7 and 5 to get 2? Yes, I can. 7 minus 5 is 2. Put our V, right? Put our larger number, put our smaller number. Why did I do that? Because they're opposites. So if they're a negative, one has to be positive, one has to be negative. One of the two combinations. Well, I look at this number. It's a positive, so the larger number, 7, is positive. That makes the other one what? Negative. If you line this up like this and it's a negative here, it tells you exactly what to put in here. Boom, boom. If this were negative, this would be negative, but this would end up being positive. All right, now you're going to set them to 0. So subtract 7 from both sides. I don't know why I put parentheses around them. It doesn't matter. Add 5 to both sides. Those are our two answers. They are not a coordinate point. They are the x-intercepts. They can be a coordinate point, but that would be -7, 0. That's why we call them the zeros or the x-intercepts. This one would also be this. These are two ways you can answer this question because it's the x-intercepts. At the x-intercept, the y is 0. At the x-intercept, y is 0. That's what we're looking at. That's what the quadratic formula also that we're going to do later on takes care of. Once again, we're going to take 24. Hopefully I have one here that's, I don't know if I'm going to do 4. I'm actually going to do 5. So let's split this up. Let's break it apart. We know it's 1 and 24. We can, 24 and 1 will not get you to 2. So let's divide by 2. 24 divided by 2 is 12. Adding it will get you 14. Subtracting will get you 10. That's not 2. We keep going. 3 will work. That's our 8. Adding it together, you get 11. Subtracting it, you get 5. That's not 2. So we're going to go to 4, and that's 6. And that will, because if I subtract them, I'm going to get 2. Put our x's, put our 6, put our 4. It's negative, so it's either going to be, it's going to be a combination of opposites. It's the only way to get that. So I look at this number. If this number is positive, the larger number, the 6, is positive. That means the other one has to be its opposite because one's positive, the other one's negative. So subtract 6 from both sides. 0 minus 6 is -6. Add 4 to both sides. 0 plus 4 is 4. These are our x-intercepts. Hopefully you guys at home are paying attention, because if you call and ask me, I'm not going to do this one. I want to do one that has the positives on it. So I'm going to scratch this one off. I'm not doing 4. I'm going to do number, let's do number 6. So I'm going to do number 6. X plus, let's see, x squared minus 9 times x plus 18 equals 0. So that's the one we're going to do. We're going to take the 18 and we're going to split that up. We're going to break it down into its factors. So 1 and 18 always works, because 18 divided by 1 is 18. So 1, if we add it, it's 19. If we subtract it, 17. That doesn't give us 9. And we're looking only at the 9, not negative. You could over here, but that's going to confuse you. I found in the past, if I keep doing negatives, it'll confuse. So 18 divided by 2 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. Minus 2 is 7. That's not the 9, so we need to keep going. 3 goes into 18 6 times. If I add 6 and 3, I get 9. Those are my factors I want. I don't want those. So I'm going to split these up. I know that this third term, the one that we factored, is positive, so it's either going to be plus plus or minus minus. It's the only way you can get to a positive number. So I can put my x here, my x here. I have the 6 and the 3. What is this one? It's negative, so they're both going to be negative. Have to be. If this were positive, then both of them would be positive. If you look at number 5 on your paper, that's a positive 30 and a positive 11. So your answer is going to be positive, positive. X minus 6 equals 0. We add 6 to both sides, and we're going to get x equals 6. We set x minus 3 equals 0. We add 3 to both sides. We get x equals 3. These are our x's, our x-intercepts, our zeros. This is the part that you guys are going to have to get. If it's plus, both of them are going to be the same. It's whatever this is. If it's negative, they're going to be different. Whatever this is, the larger number is going to be that. If you get that part, you can get this every single time. So all right, make sure you log on tomorrow, everybody, and go through this. It's going to be this same thing. I'll have 4 examples, about 9, I might earlier. I'll have 4 examples for you posted. But watch it, because sometimes I jump around. And if you come and ask me a question and I ask you if you watch the video, better have watched the video. All right, have a good one. Bye.